Hello, everybody. Welcome to another SATURDAY night. And I know that my guest remembers that song so well because I know she was on her car like, yeah. Back.
So me. You got me pegged.
I got you so pegged. So good to see you. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Come on in and say hello. Hello, Gail. Hello, Michelle. Hello, Kelly Caliquin. Thank you for being on here, Kelly Caliquin. I hope I said your name right. And welcome, everybody. Welcome. If you're new, come on in and say you're new as people come on in. I know we started right on the dot and we had 45 seconds before we fixed the whole Mishigash thing. Did I say that right, Mishigash? A little bit.
Correct.
Yeah, a little bit, Mishigash. Oh, look, percussion mom.
Mishigas. No essay.
Mishigas. Who's percussion mom?
I don't know.
Say hello. All right. So, guys, if you don't know, Lynne has been my friend, oh my God, for over like almost 13 years. That's crazy. Because we met, are you frozen?
Yeah,
oh, yeah.
That's crazy to think about, isn't it?
We met back in 2013. 2013? It had to be 2013.
Maybe.
Because I did Pathways December 2013, I think. And whatever that crazy was, because look at me, I'm gonna do 2013 minus 1964. No, it was before that, because
You're worse at math than I am. What is
it? Yeah, I don't know.
I came back to Pathways in December 2010. So
then I had to do it around that time because.
So probably sometime in 2011, maybe.
2011, maybe. I don't know. I don't remember. I don't.
Because you and Lauren were in leadership together.
Right. We were in leadership. When was she in leadership?
So probably she did advanced in 2011. So probably late 2011 or early 2012.
Yeah. So it's 2010. So we've known each other 15 years. Woo! That was a long one to figure out, everybody. Let me just tell you, Adventures of Lynne.
That was a lot of work.
That was a lot of work. Hello, Karen. Good to see you. So Lynne and I, the point of this is Lynne and I go far back, as when the cows come home, we just go back. And Lynne is in Illinois, and she's been a dear friend. I've also coached with Lynne. Lynne was my coach for a while, and I learned a lot. And you just have an amazing way of getting to the brass tacks, like really holding people accountable, really doing your job and asking the right questions, giving the, have you thought about this? Suggestions that you do so well. And you've taken all that into your relationship empowerment coaching, which I love. Can you tell everybody a little bit about that?
Sure. So I actually became a coach when I was in leadership, actually. So around the time that we met, and I put it on the back burner after a few years. Single mom, raising kids, busy, doing all that stuff. And part of the reason I struggled, actually, which many coaches do at the beginning, was I really, besides being pretty tech illiterate, I really struggled with who I wanted to work with, who my ideal clients were. But this time around, so I restarted my business about 2.5 years ago, and knew that I wanted to do the relationship coaching, partly a big part because even though I did online dating off and on for about 10 years, I had some long relationships in there, like a 2-year relationship and a 3-year relationship and some shorter ones, that I didn't find my perfect person for me until I did the work on myself even more, because our first love is self-love. And the most important relationship that we will ever have is the one we have with ourselves. And so when I started working on that even more than I already had, that's when I met the love of my life. So,
and I became
a relationship coach. So
I think that's really important. I think people forget that. And the same thing happened with me as well. Even though I was married and got divorced, I really did the deeper work. It was COVID. I had nobody but me. I was like, whoa, let me wear this cute outfit. Oh, for me and the dog. My dogs at that time, for me and the dogs. And I was like, all right, I'm glad the dogs are liking this. But it allowed me to take a step back and really look at what is it that I truly want. I know what I don't want. And what do I not want? What am I worth? That was the hard one. What am I worth? What do I deserve? Because as a former people pleaser, that's hard. As a former control freak, that's even harder. As a former fixer, which is why I married my ex to fix him.
Did that twice.
Are we good at it? We're so
not even fixing, but like I can make their life so much better.
Right. Exactly. Well, to me, that's fixing.
What a big ego that is. Like,
I know.
Yeah,
oh, we have to say hello to Karen and Vicky and Sharon. I feel like I'm on Romper Bumper Stomper Boo. And Christy, hello.
I see.
Yes. And I see Rhonda. Good evening from Idaho. Idaho.
I love that.
Right. I love it. Kathleen, good to see you. Jen Doss, hello. Marlo Woodward, hello, my friend. How are you? Good to see everyone. Thanks for being here, everybody. And for all of Lynne's people, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. So we're talking about finding love, finding self, finding love. How do we do that, Lynne? How do we find who we are and what we want? And like how do we figure out that step out? Because I'm sure, how many single people are here? Guys, let me know if you're single, or if you want to say that you're not really into this relationship that you're in. Put that in there, but don't say it. We'll put the word, I don't know, maybe watermelon in there. Just if you want to say watermelon, we'll know what that is. And speaking of husbands, here's yours.
Look at that. Hi, everybody.
So Kathleen's single, Vicky is, Gail is. So what would you suggest to and Phoenix Rise Vibes is Adventure of Lynne? Yes. You've got people on Instagram and here. How do we do it? What do we do with it?
Well, before I answer that question, I want to touch on something you said at the beginning.
Yeah.
And that made me think about how, because both of us have been married before. Right. I'm on my third marriage, actually, which I used to be ashamed to tell people, part of the, but that's who I am.
It's who you are. You're not just like a
and I actually don't regret any of it. I tell people all the time, I don't regret any date, any relationship I've ever been on, because I learned something from it. Like you said, whether it was something I don't want or something I do want, it all taught me something and led me to where I am. But the divorce rate for first marriages is 50%. Second marriages is about 63%. And third marriages, the divorce rate is about 74%, which are huge numbers. And I really think that a lot of times it's because we're not looking at ourselves. We think it's the other person's fault. And sometimes it is. I mean, let's be real. My second marriage ended because of alcohol. I didn't pour the alcohol down his throat, but I also, after a while, figured out that I had to take ownership of my part, because it takes two. No matter what, it takes two. And I wasn't speaking up. I didn't want to make waves. I didn't grow up in a family that showed a lot of anger. I'm sure my parents fought just like everybody else, but it wasn't in front of us. So anger, I had an issue with people expressing anger and stuff like that. So I didn't want to make waves. I didn't want to have a fight. I didn't want to make them angry, all that kind of stuff. So that's not necessarily about the alcohol, but I certainly had to own my part of, all of that. So when we look at ourselves and we take ownership for our part, we don't usually jump from relationship to relationship, different body, same results. So we have to eventually look in the mirror and be willing to work on ourselves. And for me, that that really came down to me being honest with myself and looking at myself and say, why didn't this work? Like I said, I might not have poured the alcohol down his throat, but I had to look at what I was doing that wasn't healthy in a relationship. Whether he had alcohol, whether alcohol was a problem or not, I still wasn't being honest with myself,
Right.
because
Sure.
I didn't want to make waves. Whether there was alcohol involved or not, I was scared. I was scared to make him angry. I was scared for if I told him the truth about how I felt about something, he might leave, and I didn't want to be alone. So I had to be real with who I was and how I was showing up in relationships and fix that before dating anybody else. And that takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of honesty. My husband now has been sober for 35 years. And so I know that in AA, when he was going, it's called doing an inventory. And that is pretty much what I did, was be real with myself and start learning how to love myself, because I wasn't in integrity. Like, I was in integrity with so many other people, but I wasn't in integrity with myself. And that doesn't feel good. So I just learned how to be honest and learned little by little how to start loving myself. And a lot of it started with affirmations, actually. That was the big thing for me. And you taught me a lot about that, my I am statements. So
I love the I am statements.
yeah.
Good to see you, Sarah May from the UK. Thank you for being here. It's late. Oh my God. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1 o'clock in the morning. Oh my gosh. 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. Hey. So Vicky says, twice married, once divorced, and now a widow. So really, Sharon's taken. Thank you. And you've got single, single, single. We said all that. That's good. Phoenix Rise Vibe says, yeah, informations are so transformational. So true. AZD, hello. Thank you for being here. So you said you weren't honest with yourself and you had to do in integrity with yourself. How does that happen? When someone says, well, I'm being real with me.
Well, I think it's different for everybody, but for me, when I am out of integrity and I'm not being honest with myself, it shows up in other areas. Whether I'm eating like crap, or I was yelling at my kids for no reason, or being snarky or super sarcastic, or just not, it just showed up in other ways. So, it came down to the point of like being really able to look in the mirror and being 100% truthful in my actions and my words, and were they matching up?
That's the key, everybody. If your actions and words match, that is so, so important. Action and words matching. And I really think that's important. I think that's something that we say we want to do, but we don't always do it. And that is the integrity piece, everybody. That is stepping in. It's walking your walk and talking your talk.
Right.
And I think, for many of us, I think the alone time or the not alone time, or in with our partners during that COVID, during like those 2 weeks that we were literally stuck with people, that showed a lot. It showed a lot. And I know a lot of people got closer during COVID, and a lot of people got further apart and divorced during COVID. So it's challenging. It's challenging.
For sure. And how many times when we are out of integrity is when we're normally settling in a relationship and we're not being honest with
You froze.
ourselves and why we're staying.
Yeah, I get it.
Did you hear that?
Yeah. Let me ask you, so what's the next step? I know you teach, you're a dating coach as well. And Phoenix Rise Vibe says, and had some babies. Yes, I'm sure you did. And had some babies. That's funny. So what would you tell somebody who's like, okay, I'm single, I want to move towards whatever it is, relationship, whatever it may be. What do I do? What's step one?
Well, first of all, you have to be honest with yourself and ask yourself if you're really ready.
Mm-hmm.
If you've done the work where you're not going to be triggered all the time in another relationship. Now, I'm not saying you have everything like you have to be 100%,
Right.
like I had issues when I was dating too. We learned things along the way, but you got to be honest with yourself and have done some work on healing and forgiving not only the other people, and we've talked about this multiple times, forgiveness is not about saying what the other person did was okay and right. The bigger reason we forgive is for ourselves, so we can clear up all that crap that's in us. And so not only forgive the other people that need to be forgiven, and not just exes, parents and kids and whatever, everybody, but forgive ourselves so that we can move on and have a healthier relationship. So that first we got to make sure that we're being honest with ourselves, that we're ready. But also a big part is knowing what you want, not just characteristics, because I hear a lot of, I want somebody tall and I don't want to date somebody shorter than me, and I don't want somebody bald, and I don't want this and I don't want this. First of all, it's how you word it, because the more you word what you don't want, that is what you attract. Somebody here taught me about manifesting and all of that stuff. I don't know who, but big believer in what you put out there, you get. So if you say that I don't want somebody who smokes and I don't want this and I don't want that, that is what you're going to get. So it has to be worded in a way, in a more positive way. But also even more important than that is your values. What values are important to you? What, not just values in another person, but what do you value in a relationship? Because, and your values don't always have to match, but they have to be, I know a lot of people talk about red flags. I'd rather talk about negotiables and non-negotiables. There's some pink flags out there too, but like, for me, sometimes a red flag or a non-negotiable is how you treat a server or how you treat other people, if you're going to, or how you act when you're driving, if you're going to cut people off all the time, or you're going to swear all the time, or you're going to do all that kind of stuff, that just doesn't mesh with who I am as a person. Everybody, to me, everybody's equal. So if you're going to treat other people like the dirt on the bottom of your shoes, that's not going to work for me. Some people might call that red flags. For me, I just call them non-negotiables. So knowing your values and what's important to you in another person, how they treat other people, how they respect other people, character, are they a lifelong learner? For me, that's important. Somebody who's into personal development, and isn't okay with the status quo, because we're close to 60 and we're in our 60s. So, life is short. I don't want to spend time with people that I don't want to hang around with. And the older we get, I have a smaller circle, a closer circle, but a smaller circle, where I want to spend my time. So, knowing what's important to you, knowing your values, knowing what you want in a relationship, and knowing what you don't want, but phrasing it in a way that you're attracting what you want is really important. I think that's where you need to start.
Michelle says, hello, twice divorced, 3 times married, and eventually will divorce the 3rd time. So she's in that process. Am Johnson says, whenever I see that I'm being short or feeling angry, I take a step back and I ask myself, what is your problem? Then I really think about my answer and work on fixing it. Yeah, very good. Very good.
Self-awareness, huge.
Your husband says the condition of our heart is reflecting our behavior towards others. So true. So true. Here's what I would suggest everyone, like Lynne was talking about. just go with me for a while with this. Write down everything you don't want. If you want to get it out there, just get it out there because you're just going to get it out there. And then, you can make that list like that. You know it. You're like, nope, 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 right? Write it all down. Fold the paper in half. Open it up again. And on the other side, write the exact opposite. You could do this for a job. You can do it for a loved one. You could do whatever. Write the opposite. I don't want someone who smokes, so you want a non-smoker. I don't want someone who likes to go to the bars every night. I want someone who is comfortable staying at home. Whatever it is, write the opposite. Then fold the piece of paper in half, open it up a second time, and then separate those two halves. Take what you don't want, crumble it up, and throw it away. Throw it away. So the only thing that you have is that list. And let's drop I want someone. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are looking for the one, state it. I want the one. If you want someone, you're just going to get someone. But if you want the one, you're going to get the one. Right?
Absolutely.
So that's
we thought a long time ago when I was back in the day when I was going to Weight Watchers, we called it reframing. That's what it was called. A lot of weight loss places call it just reframe all of that negative stuff and reframe it into a positive thought.
Yeah, so true. Michelle says, I forgave myself for setting aside those red flags because I was focused on the potential. Many lessons learned. Michelle, I'm right there with you. This is why I got John. I got John because I looked at those red flags and I made them yellow, and I settled, and I ignored my non-negotiables because I could fix them. I could change it. I could make it amazing because that's who I am. I'm amazing. I work so good on myself and so hard on myself, and I'm going to do it. Well, guess what? It takes two to tango. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. And I was like, you know what? I'm done with the horse. I'm done with that pool of water. I'm out of here. And honestly, truly, it made me, like you said, Lynne, it made me go really deep within. And there was some really dark times during that time. There was a lot of great time too. Mm-hmm. And it made me really re-examine. And when John came into my life, trust me, everybody, I was like, I had my list and I was like, what do you, okay? And I was ready to, rake them over the coals because I was not going to settle for another jerk. I could say a stronger word, but we're on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube. But another, a fun person. I wasn't going to go ahead and settle for that F word.
For sure.
Exactly. That's why, shameless plug. That's why I wrote this book, Changing the F You to Thank You. So I was grateful for the divorce. I was grateful for all the lessons that came about. And it was really the best thing ever. And when I met John, I was like, I told everybody upstairs, I'm like, look, I do not want some bird coming to my window to give me a sign or some song being on the, on the radio. I need something specific to me. And I need something so specific that I will not question it.
I knew within probably a week of meeting my husband that he was the person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we both say that if we had, because he had done his own inner work over the years, and we both say if we hadn't done the work, and even if we had met 6 months before we did, maybe it wouldn't have worked.
Yeah, I agree. Same here. And the one thing that made me even consider still dating John is because we found out, even though, he didn't know exactly because it was on his baptismal record, but we had the same birthday, which is that was my sign. I'm like, all right, I will definitely devote all my time and effort in seeing where this was going to go. And he said something really interesting. When he moved in, he said, look, if this doesn't work out between you and I know we're going to be excellent roommates and really good friends. And that kind of cinched it for me, really cinched it, because I've never met anybody that was so kind and so caring and somebody who would move mountains for me. And that was an important thing for me. I would move mountains for anyone, really, truly, especially the one. I would move every single mountain. These two, my mom and dad, moved every mountain for me, sometimes with a little guilt, but they but they did.
Jewish,
Great Jewish, comme ci, comme ça, same thing. You know, who taught who the guilt? So it's kind of, you know, I want to know. It's kind of good. It's really good, actually. Hi, Chris. Good to see you. Sorry, I was babbling on and I forgot to say hello. So I want to ask you, everybody that's single needs to take a look at themselves, needs to go ahead and write their want list, their don't want and want list, tear up the don't want list and keep the want list. What would be 2 other steps that they could do?
Well, I'm a big firm believer in affirmations, like I already said.
Right.
And that helped with my self-confidence and loving myself, because we both know that if you don't love yourself, it's really hard to love somebody else fully. It's not somebody else's job to fill you up, you know, because eventually they become resentful if they're doing all that work to fill you up and you're not doing it yourself. So for me, affirmations worked a lot. I said them in the morning. I said them at night before I went to bed. There were times that I said them before I walked out the door to a date, or even in the rearview mirror before I got out of the car. You know, and just, you know, affirmations can be, you know, as you know, they can be a sentence, they can be, you know, a phrase, but my favorites to make it just really simple are the I am statements that, you know, we've been doing for years. But you're the one who taught me that the I always tell people this, that my friend Elias taught me this, that the I stands for intention, the A stands for action, and the M stands for what you want to manifest. You know, so if people want a really simple affirmation, it's just I am, fill in the blank. And the affirmations, I always say, you know, an affirmation has to be 3 P's. It has to be positive, it has to be in the present, and it has to be personal. So, you know, for me, for a long time, it was I am worthy, or I am enough, or, you know, just something like that, or I am amazing. And I will say, I didn't always believe it at the beginning, right, you know, but it was kind of that fake it till you make it thing. But eventually, you know, that's what it came down to. And it finally had me going from like sitting on 2nd, 3rd, 5th dates, or 2 months in going, why the hell am I here? to right, realizing, you know, people say that dating takes up so much time. Part of it is because we're not listening to our gut and we're thinking, oh, well, maybe they were just nervous, I'll go out with them again or whatever. And we're not paying attention to the clues. So we're wasting a lot of time. It really doesn't take as much time as we think it does. We're just wasting a lot of time because we're ignoring the signals. So it took me a while to get to that part of where I knew 2 things that were life-changing for me. One, I knew it really finally sunk in that if I never met somebody, I'd be totally okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
Might not be super happy about it, but I would be okay.
Right.
Being alone. And the other thing was that I was done. If I didn't walk out of a first date going, gosh, I hope I see them again, there was no second date. I was done wasting time. And those were huge for me, just listening to those signals.
And we talked about this because you were so gracious to have me as a guest in one of your workshops. And I told Lynne this story, you guys, and some of you might have heard it, but I remember one year, I went on 20 some dates in 1 month. And they were all from Match.com. And I was super excited. I always did coffee dates. I never did lunch or dinner or movie. It was always coffee because I want to find out, yeah, I talked to you twice on via text, once on the phone or twice on the phone. Now we're going on a date. And it was a coffee date. And I remember I was so excited because the conversation was really great and seemed like a really good person. The picture was really good. Let me tell you again, the picture was really good, everybody. And I got so excited. And I'm sitting there in the coffee shop with my chai tea and I'm waiting. And he shows up. And I said in my head, oh, hell no. Hell no. No, no, no. That picture is 20 years old. And I'm like, all right, you're going to play with me? I'm going to play with you. So he comes by and he's like, hi, Elias. I'm like, hi. And I looked at him and I'm like, do I know you? Well, not yet, but we've talked. I go, we've talked. He goes, it's me, Michael. I'm not going to say his real name because I don't remember it. Michael. And I go, oh, Michael. Hi, how are you? Good. And I said, I would never have recognized you. Not in a million years. He goes, I know, I got to really do something about that picture. It's a little bit ago. And I said, really, a little bit ago? He's like, yeah, but so he sits down and he's like, so tell me more about you. And I said, well, here's something that I want to tell you. The very first thing that I honor is honesty. And you were dishonest with me. You showed up, you put a picture on there that all of them were from the 1980s, but it looked passable. And I said, and here we are, 20 years later, and you have a different color hair and you have much more different skin. And I said, not that you're not an attractive man, but you lied. And I said, I'm going to go back to my job and I wish you all the best. Thank you so much. The old me would have sat there and had the chai and been like, all right, everybody can make a mistake. And I really started it. Trust me, everyone, it took years, but started to say, what is it that I deserve? And the list got bigger and bigger. Am Johnson says, my husband and I tried to ignore signs we were meant together in the beginning. We gave in, and now we've been together for 24 years. I love that. That's awesome. That's awesome. Sharon says, the list and manifesting really helps. Knowing what you want and need, as well as not settling just because you don't want to be alone, is so important. So, so true. That's why I wanted to have you on here, Lynne, because you have such a great story. And I think, it's the month of February. Some people are like, oh, Valentine's Day. And now I'm depressed because it's after Valentine's Day. It's a week and a day after and blah, blah, blah. And you know what? That's just a Hallmark celebration. And love is every day. Love is every day. And I had a really good friend who passed away on February 8th. And that lesson is so important that you said about being present. I wish I could have gone back 3 weeks ago and told her how much I really appreciated her. Again, I've told her before, but she's 60, had a heart attack, and now she's gone. And we never met. We never got to meet. It was somebody that I met during COVID, Robin Toby, and a nice Jewish girl from Sparrow Bush, New York, and just adored her. And she wanted to come to my wedding, but couldn't. And really, really hit me hard about, not having her here. So anyway, you've got some stuff going on, don't you? What you got going on?
I do have some stuff going on. So I am, well, because of you, I'm going to be contributing to this book that's coming out in a few months. So I am excited about that. I have to figure out what I'm writing about because it's due in a month. And I just, so I sent you I don't know if you got the email. Hopefully you did, because I don't know if I can put stuff in the chat or not.
Okay. I'll go.
But I have a new I guess you can call it little ebook. Okay, it's called, and it's a talk about self-love. It's called Screw Dating Goals Until You Love Yourself, 24 Epic Dates with You. So if you want to get that, I can try to put that link in the comments. Otherwise, you do it. You got it.
Yeah.
So it's a great little handout, I guess you can call it. But I love the title that I came up with, Screw Dating Until You Love Yourself. So if anybody wants to grab that, they can do that. I do a monthly talk on Eventbrite. So if you follow me on Facebook or Instagram.
Okay, so here's the thing, guys. Yeah. YouTube, where go to the HTTPS, where the bit part, there's, I don't know why YouTube didn't have a little space between right after the 3. So just, you can hit either one of those. And if you don't get it, just email me and I'll send it to you. So I'm sorry, go ahead, Lynn.
That's okay. So we've got that guide, and then the book coming, and I don't even know when the book's being published because we haven't even turned the stuff in. So, and then I do a monthly talk on Eventbrite. So if you're follow me on Facebook or Instagram, you'll always find the information there.
And you see clients individually.
I do see clients individually. I'll probably also be starting a group program, probably April or May, probably. So then, it's a different dynamic. I love working with one-on-one, but I also love groups because it's a great support system in addition to getting the coaching. Right. Yeah. So I work with clients that way. Yeah. And in the next 4 or 5 months, I'm probably going to also start a membership program where every week we get together for like a Q&A and then some training and stuff here and there. So that'll be a weekly thing too. So.
And how do people find you?
I sent you my Facebook link. So you have my Facebook. Actually, you have all my links in that email. So
okay, hang on.
You can follow me at
go right back to
Instagram. If I can use the chat, right? I'm just gonna put it test.
I think you can. I don't know.
Here, I just put test. Did you see that?
No, because I'm on a different screen. So
okay.
Hold on 1 second. So guys, if you want to follow Lynne, you go to Facebook and it's LYNNE.IMHOF. So it's her name.
Actually, it has Yura in there too.
Oh, it does?
Yeah. Because I didn't want to get rid of my maiden name because then people wouldn't have found me.
Okay. And Instagram is Lynne Imhof. F is in Frank, coaching. And then you can find her on LinkedIn as Lynne Imhof. I don't know what those numbers are, but just look for her. You can find her.
You'll find me.
If you can't find her, call me and I'll find her for you.
It should be pretty easy.
I'm excited. So I'm going to have you back on when your book comes out.
Awesome.
I'm super excited about that. And for everyone else, let me just tell you this. I have a question for everyone. What happens if I would do a quiz? And let me know what you think on here. If I was to do a quiz for you all to find out if you're a people pleaser, a control freak, a fixer, or a perfectionist. So what would you think about that? Because I have a different twist on it and I can't wait to share it. That's coming up soon. Also, coming up soon is tomorrow. If you haven't heard, tomorrow we have something really cool and fun. Tomorrow we have a free event. Unlock your institution. Unlock your institution. Good, Elias. Unlock your intuition mindset. Unlock your institution, everybody. Just unlock it.
Unlock the door.
Unlock the door. Mindset and love. It's a free. Class tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Pacific, 11 o'clock Central, and 12 o'clock Eastern. Come do that. It'll be a lot of fun. If you want to even spend a couple more days with me, I got something else going on that y'all should be part of. It is a lot of fun, and I'm going to show you in a second. The Mindset of Love retreat. This is going to be, we're going to do a rhythmic soul sound healing. We're going to talk about the mindset principles that are in the book. We're going to talk about the different aspects of love. And we're also going to talk about how we can shift. We're going to talk about the people pleaser, the control freak, the perfectionist, and we're also going to talk about how to cut those cords. And we're going to do a lot of stuff. There's going to be a post event too with Lisa Nolan Chalowski, Ginger Perrick, and myself, and Laura Wusta, all the way from Boston. Laura Wusta. So come and join us, guys. There's still some spots left, and I'm super excited, super excited about this one. It's brand new. I'm taking a new aspect of love stuff, which I've done before, but I'm also doing the mindset principles, mushing it together, and it's super exciting. And this book just came out the other day. It is on the best-selling list on Amazon. It's Synchronicity. So this is also by Kira. It's As You Wish Publishing, and you'll notice you recognize some of the people here. So there's me. Karen's been here before. Cameron, we had her on the other night. And if you're local, tomorrow we'll be in the afternoon. We're going to be at, you'd love this workshop, Lynn. We're going to be at a New Renaissance bookstore, and we're going to be do something that's a vision board, but with action. A vision board with action. So instead of just putting all the pieces on there and go, I want this, I want this, I want this, we're going to have action steps to show you how to get to that place. So it's completely different. So come join us. It's going to be a lot of fun. You, my friend, are always welcome anytime you want to join on here, whatever you need. And guys, I have to tell you, Lynne is an amazing coach. She really is. Compassion, passion, a little bit of kick-ass, and some really good advice and supportive. So if you are looking for a relationship or you need a good coach, please check out Lynne. Thank you, my friend, for being on here.
You're very welcome. I just want to say quickly, I've been on a few of your retreats. If you guys are on the fence, get off the fence. His retreats are so amazing. And I did one of his love retreats years ago, actually right before I met Hugh. And I remember putting on my list of what I was looking for. And literally within 3 months is when I met my husband. So phenomenal. And I would be there if I wasn't having my knee replaced. But unfortunately, I can't. It's not good timing this time. But if you're thinking about it, go. Seriously.
Karen says, wonderful presenters in a beautiful setting. Karen's been at my wedding. So yes, we got married at Skamania. It's a beautiful place, you guys. And here's the thing I want to tell you. If you put Elias25 in the code, you get $200 off. And if somebody's on the fence and it's a financial thing, please, this is about loving you. Call me up and say, hey, I would like to go. Could we work something out financially? And I do have a couple financial spots where I can go ahead and do some sort of payment plan. So don't let the price stop you. You have to pay for your own hotel. So it's unlike the other retreats that I've done because it's a different place. But let's do it. Let's do it. Remember, everybody, we are here to connect. When we connect, we educate. And when we educate, we grow. From our hearts to yours. Be well, everybody. Have a good night.
Thanks for having me.
I'll see you tomorrow, everyone. Take care.